Uh, when we feel imprisoned by something, or maybe a better word is limited, right? When we feel limitations of something in our lives, a great deal of that can be traced back to the way we think about it, to the kind of concept we have of it. And often the concept we have of it, our way of thinking about it, is maybe not wrong, but sometimes it's wrong, but often off center, often very misleading. And so by working on my thinking, I can, maybe not completely, but I can change the the binds I'm in, change my sense of what I'm limited by, or what I'm imprisoned by, to use the words of these. So let me give you a couple of extreme examples. Um, One of them is uh, people who've been in an accident and lost their legs. So now they've just become paraplegics. So think for a moment about what just for a moment, too rough to think about it for me to think about it for very long. Think about what it would be like if you lost both your legs suddenly at whatever age you're at now. It's just horrible as it is. But in studies, 8 months after people who've lost their two legs, they the measure of their self measure of their own happiness is about the same as it was before they lost their legs. That is, my impression is that if something as drastic as that happened to me, it would take away all meaning from my life. Everything would crash around me. That's my conception of it. But in fact, though that might be true for me, for most people, it's not true at all. So notice a lot of this has to do with how I think about becoming a paraplegic. I mean, that would be, I'm not saying, I'm not diminishing it at all. It would be horrifying. But 8 months afterwards, in studies, people's amount of happiness seems to be about the same. I'm not saying that for all situations, but it's for many of them. How we conceive of the situation can be cannot capture the reality of the situation. Let me give you another example. Again, an extreme example. Lots of people play the lottery, right? And sometimes people win. And the expectation is if you play the lottery and you win one of those huge prizes, your life is going to be changed dramatically. And that's true. But the other assumption is your life is going to be changed dramatically for the better. And that seems not to be true. Again, measures of happiness before and after winning the lottery seem to be about the same. It doesn't seem to affect people's overall sense of their happiness or of their well-being. Now, that's not entirely true because there are other studies which say that we all know, we all hear money doesn't buy happiness. And that's true, I guess, more or less, with limitations. But if you're very poor, having increase in money increases your happiness and sense of well-being to a considerable degree. But if you're reasonably well off and you get a huge amount of money, it doesn't, according to studies, appreciably change the sense of well-being you have in your life. Now, when I hear that, I got to tell you, I don't believe it. I think, oh no, that's just one of those studies. I know a lottery would change my life entirely. Being a paraplegic would change my life, right. So notice I go to my own impression of it rather than to any data. And the truth of the matter is that I actually don't know what my response would be if I won the lottery or became a paraplegic. But the assumption behind our workshop today that I'm bringing to the forefront is that a great deal of what imprisons us or limits us can be traced to how we think about things, how we think oftentimes uncritically about things.